Speak of El Diablo, man.
Yikes.
Hey, buenos dias, ¿qué pasó, amigos? John's Moto Garage, as always, welcome back to the channel. Have you guys ever wondered how much money your favorite motovloggers make doing YouTube? Have you ever wondered, can you actually make money doing YouTube? Well, today we're going to look into that. I released a video a couple days back going over my earnings in the last 8 months since I've been a monetized channel, so you can check that out below. I broke down month by month as well as total earnings, and we're going to be using today a website called Social Blade. It's available to the public. Anybody can jump on this website, type in a YouTube channel, and get some information. We're going to use this, but the problem with this is, if you'll know, looking here at my channel, John's Moto Garage, it gives you a pretty wide range, anywhere from $94 up to $1,500 earnings. So we're going to try to narrow that down and then look at some of our favorite motovloggers to get an idea of how much potential money they're able to make off their YouTube ad revenue. So to narrow this down, let's take a look here. I'm going to use my channel as a baseline example. So it says $94 on the low end, $1,500 on the high end. That's in the last 30 days. Let's take a look at my actual channel analytics. In the last 30 days, I've made just under, this is for the last 28 days, I made just under $1,100. So it's actually pretty close to that high end there. Now the question is, how can we relate this to other motovloggers without having this information here? Well, because we're all in the same industry and they run the same ads on most of these videos, I think it's safe to assume that I can take the same formula that I use to determine how much I make and apply that to the other channels. So this is speculation. I don't know exactly how much those other channels make, but with this formula, we're gonna have a pretty good idea, and I think it'll be pretty close, plus or minus a little bit, to how much these other channels are potentially able to make. A few things you got to consider: some channels get demonetized, or at least some videos get demonetized. You also have to understand a lot of channels make money not just through YouTube ad revenue, but you can make money through Patreon, you can make money through merchandise, you can make money through doing giveaways, paid promotions, as well as endorsements, things along those lines. Let's take YammieNoob for example. He's got his Patreon here. You can pay per episode. There is a way to cap that out, so you're not paying every single day. But even at the lowest level, at $5 per episode, let's say you only did that once for the entire month, he's got 1,280 Patreon. So just right there, he's making a minimum of $5,000 a month through the Patreon support. He also does these motorcycle giveaways. That's another big thing that you can do. Obviously, that takes a lot of work. There's a lot of legal stuff that goes into doing that, but you basically are giving people an incentive to purchase merchandise. For every dollar spent, you get an additional entry for the giveaway. So there's lots of different creative ways you can earn money off of YouTube. Again, today we're talking primarily off of the ad revenue. Just real simply, with YouTube, once your channel hits certain benchmarks, that's 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours in the last 12 months, then YouTube will start running ads that they think are relevant on your channel. Advertisers pay YouTube, YouTube takes a cut, and then you get your payment. Of course, these numbers here are going to be gross, so that it doesn't include taxes and all that kind of thing, but we're just going to be looking at the gross potential earnings of some channels. So what I found looking at Social Blade and the earnings for my channel over the last couple months is that if you take Social Blade total views, about 70% of those views are going to be monetized because some people use ad block, other people use YouTube Premium. So not every single one of those views is going to be a monetized view. But I found that about 70% of views are monetized, and on average, with my videos at least, the CPM comes out to about $5. So just to play it on the conservative side, we're going to take a look at some of our favorite YouTubers. We'll look at how many views they get, take about 70% of that, divide it by 1,000, and multiply it by 5. Sounds complicated, but it's really pretty simple. So for starters, let's take a look at Attention Deficit. He's an up-and-coming channel, one of the channels that I've been following for a while now, and he recently had a video go semi-viral, so you can see he's got a big spike in both views and subscribers here. And we're going to take a look at his channel here in the last 30 days, see how much he potentially made. So he had 560,000 views in the last 30 days, and we will multiply that by 0.7, so we're going to take 70% of those, divided by 1,000. CPM equals cost per mil. So that's how much YouTube pays you for every 1,000 monetized views, and that's where we're going to use the dollar amount of 5, because that seems to be a good average amount in the motorcycle industry. So you're going to take 392 views times $5 for each, and that's 1,960. So if you'll see 1,960, that's pretty close to the high end estimate here of 2.2K or $2,200. So in this last 30 days, he was able to make roughly $2,000. Now he's got about 22, probably around 23, 24,000 subscribers now. So not too bad. Really, it all comes down to the number of views. Let's take a look at another channel here. Let's take a look at Dan the Fireman. He's also had a pretty good growth spurt here recently. He's a bigger channel already at 119,000 subscribers. Recently, he's been doing videos of accidents where you get some pretty cool accident videos, and he talks about what the rider did wrong. And of course, those drawn quite a bit of attention and views there. So one thing he'll mention though is a lot of his videos get demonetized for using those clips. So you got to understand, this isn't a foolproof guaranteed formula. Anyway, let's look at his 1.492 million views in the last 30 days. So we'll just say 1.5 mil. So in the last 30 days, he had probably around $5,200, $5,000 plus or minus. So again, pretty close to the estimate of 6,000 here. Now I know he does Patreon a lot, so he probably makes a decent amount through Patreon. So that's a channel with about 100,000, 120,000 subscribers there. Another one of my favorite channels here, MotoJitsu. He got me into doing the knee drag stuff, watching his videos. He also recently hit 100,000 subscribers, so he's at 105,000. In the last 30 days, he had 788,000 views. And so you're looking at about $2,700, just under $3,000 there for the last month's earnings. That's again a channel with around 100,000. So I think you guys get the idea. It's really pretty easy to determine roughly how much a channel is bringing in on revenue. That's assuming they are monetized in the motorcycle industry. That's probably about what they're going to be making. Also keep in mind, you can run way more ads on your videos. I don't know who does, but that'll also make things a little different. Let's check out SRK Cycles, a dealership out of PA. They do tons of videos, ride reviews, things along those lines. And they've blown up here as well in the last year plus. You know, they do a lot of videos, have a lot of content pumping out. And in the last 30 days, we're looking at about 3.2 million views. And so you're looking at about $11,000 off of the last 30 days. Now, the cool thing is they actually have a second channel, Bikes and Beards. Check this out. So what do we say, about $11,000 on that last channel? And then you look at Bikes and Beards, and Bikes and Beards are probably bringing in about $5,000. So you're looking at about $16,000, $17,000 between those two channels as well. And then lastly, let's check out YammieNoob. Again, he's one of the bigger channels, and he's pumping out a video a day, if not more. And he had 3.75 million views. And so he probably brought in around $13,000, $15,000 gross revenue through the through YouTube ad revenue alone in the last 30 days. So you add that to the 5,000 to, who knows, 20,000 on Patreon, and that's a pretty good amount of dinero there through a YouTube channel. So again, these are estimates, but I think seeing as how all of these are in the motorcycle industry and a lot of the ads run on these channels are similar to the ones I see running on my videos, I think it's safe to assume that it's pretty close to what I'm doing, if not a little bit more. And so I think that's pretty rad. It's cool to see that you can make money on YouTube, following your passion and doing something that you enjoy, that being motorcycles. Is it something that any of us could just go out and do? I mean, technically, if we put in the work, that might be possible. You'll note a lot of these channels have been doing this for a long time, 3, 4, 5, 6 years. It's not something where you wake up, start a channel, and then all of a sudden you're huge. You really have to earn your stripes and put in the work. On occasion, you'll see a channel that's just phenomenal and they blow up out of nowhere, but typically it just comes down to a lot of hard work and grinding, putting in a lot of work to get your channel to where it's at. And take YammieNoob, for example. He does tons of videos. Look at the editing he does with each of his videos. He doesn't just scrap them together. I mean, obviously he's putting a lot of work in. Every time he uses the word butt, he shows a butt on the channel. I mean, just the editing in that alone would be a ton of work. So you got to give him credit for all that, as well as the fact that he's an entrepreneur. He took a channel and became innovative, doing bike giveaways, finding a way to generate revenue that way as well. You know, there's all kinds of ways that you can do it, but overall, that's more or less how you can determine how how much a channel is roughly making. At least a motorcycle channel. It's going to vary if you look at other fields as well. So leave a comment below. What do you guys think? Is that surprising? Did you have any idea you could make that much money? Were you thinking it'd be more, thinking it'd be less? What are your thoughts? Like I said, I think it's pretty rad. So there you go. Roughly, that's an estimate of how much your favorite motovlogger could be making just off the YouTube ad revenue. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. As always, if you dig the content, you can like and subscribe. You can hit me on Instagram at John's Moto Garage. And of course, huge shout out to those who support John's Moto Garage on Patreon. Link below for that as well. All right, you guys, we'll catch you on the next one. Adios. Nos vemos.